beautiful LinkedIn family, my YouTube family, Facebook family, Instagram family. Welcome to Preservers of Life. This is your holistic nurse, Casey, and I am coming to you. You know, I'm always bringing valuable people to you, and my aim is to make valuable people visible. So today I have a very, very dear friend. She has been a holistic nurse entrepreneur for so many years. And when I started my journey, she was actually the first person I called. She was so loving, so kind. Yes, I was stubborn, but she gave me good advice anyway. And you don't have to do it like me. You can learn from my mistakes and you can listen in, tune in. If you are a nurse, you want to start a business, you want to start coaching, or you just want to hear about what your options are, you want to tune into this episode. So I am going to invite her in. Her name is Sharon Birch. Welcome in, Sharon.
Hi, Casey. Thank you for having me.
It's so nice. I smile so big every time I see you
Oh,
because you're just such a beautiful person. You know, coming from a culture where nurses eat their young, when I called you a stranger in a different state, you just poured so much into me. And I think I will
mm,
be eternally grateful for that because that's the
mm.
culture we need.
Yeah, well, that's my philosophy of life. And I think you and I are very aligned in that way, that we are here to be shed light and love and encouragement and and just help people, and especially nurses, because we see nurses have so much value to offer. So yeah, it was my joy to talk with you.
Yes, and you know, I'm bringing you back today because I am on a mission to help valuable people become more visible. It's what we do at Preservers of Life, but more especially, you're doing something so beautiful for the entire nursing community. I just had to bring you in. But before we get started, I just want the viewers, the audience, most of them, they may not know you. Some of them may know you or they think they know you. So we're really about to get to know you today. And
Okay.
I just wanted you to share with us, like, how long have you been a nurse? Where are you from? They might be curious. I'm curious. Share
Okay.
with
Okay, fun. So I'll share some highlights, but Casey, this year I've been a nurse for 50 years. I started
really.
in 1974. Yeah. And as a LPN. And so there's a lot that you can do in 50 years. So I'm just
Yep.
going to give a few highlights. If people want to know more about me, they can go to my website, liberatednurse.com and /about. And that tells about me and my team. So yes, I started as a licensed practical nurse in 74, became an RN, and I forget the year, maybe 84. It tells on my page, seems like a very long time ago. And I've done a lot of things in nursing. I've always been a holistic nurse, though, because I was lucky. I grew up in a family my dad was a scientist, my mom was an artist. So we learned that we needed to both in life, is the art approach to life and the science approach to life. And holistic nursing offered that to me. So, and I'll tell you this is kind of a secret thing. I went into nursing. I got married very young. I was 18, didn't know
Uh-huh.
what I was doing, got married. And I went to nursing school thinking I'll never need to work. I'll just do this so I can better care of my family,
Yes.
learn practical nursing skills. And surprise to me then, a few years later, the marriage didn't make it. And I had to work to support myself and my daughter all these years. So I was so glad I had a profession. And that's how
Yes.
I came into nursing. I was never particularly called to nursing like some people are. Although
Mhm.
I'm very caring and loving person,
Yes.
I'm more interested in setting up systems so that systems can help provide support to people who want to do good work. That is actually my gift, is systems. So yeah, so it's been an interesting journey and that's partly why I became an entrepreneur, because I wanted to change the systems. I thought there's all this good love and intent that nurses hold, and all this education. We're brave, we're willing to, go where no one else will go, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And yet the system really is not always supporting us like it should
Yeah.
be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's Yeah, that's a little background on me.
Well, that's really interesting because right now, I think most nurses can agree that the system is what's broken with healthcare.
Hmm.
We have so many tools and technology, but the system is what's breaking the nurses.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what you were called for, to
Yeah.
redo a system, and you certainly have, because you went on to become an entrepreneur. So how did that pivot happen? How did you go from a nurse at the bedside to a nurse in business?
Yeah.
That's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't know that I was a systems person at the time,
Mhm.
but I knew that I was not happy at the bedside.
Okay.
I just could see all these problems in the system, and it really bugged me. And so I became, first, I was invited to be the administrator of a temporary staffing agency.
Okay.
I was working as a staff nurse in the agency, and the director left, and the owner of the company asked me to be the manager. So I did that for a while, and I thought, oh yeah, I really like this, and
Yeah.
made changes, right away. And then
Uh-huh.
I decided, well, I could do this in long-term care. I had a lot of experience in long-term care. So I took a job as a director of nursing in a long-term
Mhm.
care facility. It was all the levels from independent living, assisted living, and skilled, and
Mhm.
did that. And while I was an administrator, then I had a friend that went to massage therapy training, and she needed to practice on some people's bodies,
Yeah.
as part of her training. And I said, oh, yeah, I'll do it. She asked me, I said, yeah, I'll do it. Well, this was back in the mid 80s. I'd never had a massage before. And I didn't realize how much stress I was carrying,
Oh
in
my,
my body. And I
yeah.
had that massage, and it was like, oh my gosh, everybody needs to be getting
Yes.
And so I thought, why don't I learn how to do this? Again, I thought it was just going to be for my family and friends. Okay. I was thinking small, was
Uh-huh.
ever thinking about being an entrepreneur with it. I just thought had this new skill to offer my family and friends. And, but one thing led to another. And, I was living in Indianapolis, Indiana at the time. So there was a pretty robust community of massage therapists and body workers there,
Okay.
and we all traded work
Oh,
with each other. And,
okay.
I wanted to keep receiving, and I wanted to keep practicing my skills, so I was doing that, and then I saw, oh, they're doing business with this, and they're
Yes.
supporting themselves. I
Yes.
I could do that too, and it'd be way less stress.
Yes.
I'm a director of nursing at a long-term care facility. So, there were some steps in between, but that's I gradually, I went that direction.
Yes.
So
That's what pulled you into entrepreneurship.
it
Now,
did.
you do stuff. So when I met you, you were Sharon Birch. You marketed and branded your name,
Mhm,
and now you're a liberated nurse because
mhm.
your brand is for all
It
nurses
is.
in business. Even though you have a holistic background,
Mhm.
you're here to help all nurses. What are some of the particular things you do in your coaching, your training? How do you help nurses with their businesses?
Oh, thanks, Casey. Well, I have lots of things. First of all, I have a philosophy that every nurse should have access to business education and marketing education designed by nurses. Okay.
Ooh. Ooh, that's good.
I really believe that. And there's a lot of nurses out there. So even though I'm not the only one offering this,
Mhm.
we need plenty more. We need
Yes,
of it. People that are trained and experienced and seasoned in business
yes,
that are nurses, but
yes.
helping other nurses. And the reason is that conventional business and marketing education are not really safe for nurses.
Mm-mm.
People who are not nurses do not understand what our license is and how it has to be respected in order
True.
to keep our license safe.
Yes.
And nurses are the number one most trusted profession in the United States of all professions. And we have been ever since they started measuring that 20 some years. A lot of that is because nurses have high standards and ethics, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Very different than the way the standards and ethics are of conventional business. Conventional business, people say, let the buyer beware, you
Oh,
have to
yes,
watch out. You have to, you can't trust everything that marketing says, right? There's
yes,
they skew things, to their
yes,
benefit and don't
yes.
Whereas nurses, our ethic is be transparent. Tell the
Mhm.
person the pros and cons of their
Yes.
choices. And we want to hold that in business so that we can be nurses, very visible, very proud of being a nurse in business with those same ethics that people know us for.
Yes.
And so that's why I believe it's very important for nurses to learn business and marketing from other nurses. And our company, Liberated Nurse, particularly uses the State Nurse Practice Act and the holistic scope and standards of practice as the baseline for what we teach in business and marketing. So nurses can always feel secure and safe in their license. And that's important. And that the public can feel safe and secure in buying from nurses.
Wow, that's beautiful. I'm thinking nurses they call us heroes. Everyone trusts us because
Mm-hmm.
we are there. Our profession is literally to look out for people. It's
Yes.
to advocate for people. So when you have a nurse and a nurse is in business and a nurse charges you a certain price,
Mm-hmm.
you know they're not trying to scam you. They're
Right.
looking out for you. So I was talking to another nurse in business and I said, if all nurses were running businesses, I really think we would give businesses a run for their money because the public will realize that nurse is looking out for me,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
not just themselves.
Right. And I think that, of course, most people don't in the public don't think of us running businesses yet.
No, no, they
We're
don't.
very well branded as the person in scrubs, at the bedside doing those things. That's a plus, but it's also a box that we're in. And
Yes.
so we need to begin to be visible, and you're contributing to that.
Yes.
And so that nurses, first of all, know that this is a real thing. Nurses are out there doing business, and so then the public also knows. And it's a big shift. But I think when something's new, at first people think, well, I don't know if this will work. And then
Mhm.
once it accumulates enough evidence that it works, people say, oh, well, of course it will work. It's just like a shift in the mindset.
Yes,
So,
and we have to ride the curve, and
yeah.
this is why I really honor you, Sharon. I really honor you because you've been doing this for such a long time,
Mhm.
but it's not just about doing it for a long time, it's the way you did it. The way you structured your business and restructured your business,
Mhm.
it was with the future nurse in mind.
Yeah.
And I think many business owners, many nurses who've been business owners, they're thinking, when the nurses get broken from the system, how can I structure my business to help them flourish so that they can be profitable and
Mhm.
prosperous?
Mhm.
And I really appreciate that. I
Mm.
really appreciate you doing what you're doing because not enough people thought about my generation and future generations.
Mm.
And
It's
this
true. I'm sad, but it's true. Yeah.
they really, and so now we have to get creative, now we have to get innovative, which is not a bad thing. But I really appreciate now that you can pour into new nurses or
Mhm.
nurses who want to do something different,
Mhm.
and you are prepared to serve us.
Yes, absolutely. I have made a system that's very step by step that nurses can follow, which is helpful because that's what we were trained is to follow policies and procedures, right?
Mhm.
But the
Yeah.
reality of becoming an entrepreneur is now you're out in the wild with no policies and procedures. You just have to deal with every day as it comes. And so at the same time, there are things that are predictable. For instance, there's stages of business development, just like there's stages of human development.
Yeah.
People have to crawl before they can run and walk. Businesses have to go through the baby steps and
Yeah.
learn certain skill. The owner has to learn certain skills to build on in order to go to those further development stages. And unfortunately, most of the marketing is for the further business stages. Not
Mhm.
very many programs are providing solid, complete, and thorough education about the beginning stages so that
That's
people can start on a big, strong foundation.
that's
And
true.
so that's one thing I've identified and I'm very committed to, that giving nurses a very thorough safe and sustainable foundation, so that when they build on top of it, just like a house, if it doesn't have a good foundation, you can try to build on that, but eventually it will tilt or
Yes.
wobble or, have a problem. And business is like that too. You can only get so far without having a stable foundation, and you'll be pulled back, if you and try and have to fix things later, which is not as good as starting out, right in the first place.
Yes. And just to be very transparent with you, Sharon, I would tell you, when I started in business, I realized that there was a shift that had to happen because in business, you are going to fail. You're going to mess
Yes.
things. Whereas we go to school, we get an education, you pass your NCLEX, and then you're supposed to succeed. And when we fail in nursing, you can kill somebody. You
Oh, I
don't ever
know.
want to fail. So,
Mistakes are not allowed, even though we
yes,
know they happen. There's
yes.
everything in there built in, so to try to prevent any mistakes in there
Yes, but
for good
business is
reason.
the opposite. You
Mhm.
actually want to learn from your mistakes. So what
Right.
happens is, some of us type A, we hit some bumps in the road and we're ready to give up business. Or
Mhm.
sometimes we don't even start because it's not perfect or it's never like the way we want it to. So
Yeah.
I think sometimes having like you say you have policies, you have procedures, you have a system that helps is really helpful because the more a nurse goes up, especially in their education, they look for the same framework, and
Mhm.
business is different.
It's
So
very different.
yeah. So if like you might be a nurse practitioner or doctor of nursing practice and you have all the education,
Yeah.
but you don't know how to run a business. You need
Right.
help,
Right.
right? So
Right.
this is like perfect.
So we provide those things that you need to know about business, and we show you the order of steps to take so that you're doing the building correctly. But it's amazing. That structure is just a support structure. You can still innovate and be as creative as you want. But we help where the safe lane is and where you're getting off and you might have run into trouble. Or yes, you want to go out and do this thing, but if you'll just wait a little bit and do a couple things first, it'll go smoother for you. Those are the
Yeah.
kind of things we do.
Absolutely. And I have to tell on myself because I have to say this. I have to be honest. And if I really want to help people, I have to tell on myself. So when I first met you, you said, Casey, come enroll in my program. And I should have, because I spend so much money, and what I would have paid to do your program, I probably spent probably three to five times that in failure. Right. And I had
Yes.
to go back and I had to learn it. Now, do I regret it? No, I don't regret it because I learned so much. I met so many people, but for my purpose, I learned a very important lesson, and that is there's a reason why things cost because the cost. I used to think, oh, how much is this going to cost me? How much money I have in the bank? Oh, I can't afford that. And now I'm thinking, I can't afford not to do that.
Hmm.
If this is my purpose, if this is where I want to go, if I have a calling to start this business,
Hmm.
I need to really do it right the first time. And what is the cost of not doing it the right way?
Oh, yeah.
Listen to me. I paid a lot. I'm still paying. So
Yeah.
please, if you are thinking about starting a business, like really jump in a program. Don't be crazy like Casey and go out there and try to DIY it because you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah. There's just too many unknowns.
Yes.
And the only nurses I really know that can just go out there and do a business, they have some big advantages. For instance, they've grown up in a family of entrepreneurs. So
Mhm.
they understand the language, they understand, it's English, but the way they use words are different than what we use words. And we have actually nurses already have all the processes we need, but we call them different things. So there's a certain amount of translation of language from conventional business language to nursing language to do. So anyway, nurses who grew up in entrepreneurial families, they have a lot of that, like
Mhm.
a little edge.
Mhm.
Also, if nurses have spent a lot of time in a particular organization and have really networked that their connections in that community or organization, that is an advantage. Those are the only two advantages really that, that you might have. And so those are assets you want to, but still coaching,
Mhm.
good coaching can help you really leverage those assets and you know how to use them. And you still need to go through the steps of build the business development. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
And I would just throw in there, like nurses, there could have been nurses who had companies in different countries. But when
yeah,
you come to the United States, where Sue lives, and if you're dealing with a lot of money, you want to know how to do it right in the
you do.
States. So that might be helpful to them as well.
Yeah, that's true. Now,
Mhm.
and I would love to learn about nurses doing business in other countries. So, if any of your listeners are in other countries and they want to have a business, I would love to hear from them. And my email address is on the screen, sharon@liberatednurse.com. I'd be happy to help them to explore, what they need to do. And I want to make sure I tell all the listeners that I offer a lot of free things to help nurse entrepreneurs get started. My biggest program is a year program, and that's the one that Casey was talking about. But it's very affordable. I won't even get into that. You'll hear about that later. If you're on my mailing list, you'll hear about that. So I just want you to know about the free things that are available. There's a newsletter I send out, tips, tools, and wisdom for liberated nurse entrepreneurs every week. It's a little short newsletter. I also have a free business coaching Zoom. It's in a small group once a month. So that's the first Tuesday of every month. You just need to send me an email to Sharon@liberatednurse.com, and I'll send you that information so you can come to that for free. And nurses bring all their questions about starting a business and also running a business. Maybe they've already started, but they've gotten into a little question or a little current challenge or something. Or maybe they want to pivot. I know a lot about pivoting businesses so that you keep what the strengths are of the previous one as you go into the new idea. So that's free. And then on my website, liberatednurse.com, I have 2 free webinars. One is called Get Your First or Next 10 Clients, how to do that. And that is free. Another one is Tame Your Inner Saboteurs.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's a good one.
That is a really good one because we have so many self-doubts and we actually can learn to appreciate those voices. And being a holistic nurse, I believe we want to be a whole person. So we don't push away those saboteur voices. We actually listen, say, oh, what are you telling me? And maybe it's to be safe, maybe. And anyway, we have ways to learn how to work with that because we want to bring our whole self forward in our business and not leave parts of us behind. And then we have also a very important workshop, a recorded webinar that's called Protect Your RN License while you're building your business. And that is $37. So it's extremely affordable. I want everybody to be able to get those 3 key webinars so that they start off on a good foot, whether they go with my bigger program or not. So
Yes, such excellent resources. And you know what, Sharon? You are part of Nurses in Charge. So you're probably
yes.
going to have nurses all around the globe reaching out to you saying, can you help me? What does it look like? What is the process like? Especially my nurses in developing countries, some of them, they're so reliant on the government,
Mhm.
and they have so many skills. So I know they're going to reach out to you.
Good.
I think it's beautiful what you have done, all the content you have on liberatednurses.com. Beautiful.
Thank
But
you.
let's not forget about talking about the upcoming. You have a whole week long. You prepared something so delicious. Tell us about it.
Okay. So I am very excited about this. The week of June 23rd to 28th, that's 6 days, I'm giving a summit for nurse entrepreneurs. It's free. And I have 20 nurse entrepreneurs and leaders who are speaking. I've already recorded all the interviews, so you can watch these at any time that's convenient for you, no matter where you are in the world. You don't have to like stay up late at night or something. And I'm happy to say that Casey is one of the nurse entrepreneurs that is on the summit. And so if you'll go to, let's see, Do you have the link there, Casey, that you can share on the screen?
Let me see.
If not, I can drop
You
it into something.
okay?
Kind
You
of a
keep.
long link.
It's a long link. I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
Okay, good.
Is there a way for them to get it, or if they email you, or if they come on your website, could they get it through that?
Totally. Yes, absolutely. They can do that.
Okay. So on your website, liberatednurses.com, you actually have the link to your summit.
Yes, it's at the top. It says summit.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to share my screen because I think it's easier when people see it.
Thank
So
you.
I'm just going to share.
While you're
Um,
doing that, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about it.
Perfect.
So the purpose of this summit is to showcase successful nurse entrepreneurs and let you see how they started out. That's my homepage of my website there, and then she'll click on there's the summit link at the top. She'll click on that. So it's to showcase the successful nurse entrepreneurs, and they're all sharing with you their startup story, how they shifted from being like a standard conventional nurse to an entrepreneurial nurse. And there we go. There's the summit page. And each day, so let me start with the 23rd. The evening of the 23rd, we're having a little kickoff party where you can meet a lot of the other participants and you can meet a lot of the speakers. And then, so it tells you about that. Then day one, the topic is what is holistic entrepreneurial nursing and why is it important? And we'll be hearing from Margaret Erickson, who's the CEO of the American Holistic Nurses Credentialing Corporation, that has the board certification tests for holistic nursing and nurse coaching, and three other nurse entrepreneurs there. And every night, Monday night and all the other nights, there'll be a live coaching that I'll be doing. So you can bring your questions or your challenges to that evening Zoom, which will be live. Okay. Day two is who needs what nurses have and how can we serve those people that need what we have. So we have a nurse who's coaching employees in big corporations for their wellness, their employee assistance programs, and so on. We have a nurse who is distributing health related products, and a nurse who is an author, and has a business about healing through writing, and so on. You can see all the different speakers on this page. Day three is all about nurse coaching. What is it and why is it important? And the speakers are the owners of the top 4 nurse coaching schools in
Wow.
the US. And
Wow.
some of them are I think they all are international, actually. All of these schools are open and have students internationally. Day 4 is what are the scary things that hold us back? And I'll be talking on that day. And also we have a nurse researcher from Norway her interest in research is nurse entrepreneurialism. So she's going to talk with you about evidence that she's found in her studies. And we'll also look at the financial and legal risks that we get scared about. Then day 5 is the future, looking forward, what's possible. And that's where Casey will be, and as well as yes. And so we will have lots of inspiring conversations the whole way through. So every nurse is telling their startup story and then telling us what they're doing now and what they're looking forward to in the future. And every nurse speaker is going to give a gift to the audience, a free gift that will be available. So we have all that. And also, if you're concerned that you might not have time to watch the interviews during this, each day of interviews is only available for 2 days. So like for day 1, you can see it on day 1 or day 2 and so on. That's it. So if you feel like you might not be able to see them, you can get the all access pass for only $37, and you can see them for a whole year and get the gifts and all that for a year. So we try to make it easy for nurses to get access. And if
Now,
somebody in another country would like to have
mhm,
all access pass, I have some and if the money's a problem,
yes.
they can contact me at Sharon at liberatednurse.com, and I'm happy to, work something out. So nobody needs to be left out. That's a big
Yes.
part of our philosophy.
And I think this is why you fit in Nurses in Charge so well, because it's a community where we're looking out for everyone, all the nurses
Yes.
around the globe. Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be so much fun.
It is, it really is. It's gonna be great.
I am so excited. Thank you for allowing me to come on here and have you ask you questions and really pull from your expertise. This has been such a privilege and an honor to have you on the channel. And, nurses, if you have not connected with this beautiful woman, please do. She is just such an inspiration. I mean, for not all nurses are holistic nurses, but all nurses do practice somewhat holistically.
Mhm.
And I think we're burnt out, we get tired. So just seeing a nurse in business who have created a way and to tell you how to create your business without you burning out and stressing out. It's so precious. So please connect with her. And if you're not part of Nurses in Charge, please come into our community because you get to interact with beautiful people like Sharon. And if you notice on the list, she had people from all over the world coming in to speak for that summit. So please, please, please attend the summit, put it in your phones, on your calendar, register, please register for the summit. And I think you're not going to be disappointed by any means. Sharon, I before I let you go, I
Mhm.
usually have I come out of the screen and then I have my valuable person just speak into the heart of nurses. And you can say
Mm.
whatever you want, but I give you just a minute or two just to pour into the nurses who take the time out to listen to this stream today.
Okay, Casey. Great. Well, I just encourage you to listen to your heart and your own spirit because ultimately that's who you are. And if you feel a calling there to do something a little different than what you're doing, there is support available to you. That is one thing I think makes Liberated Nurse business community that I'm offering unique. We know that having a business is about more than just the how to, or you can't, well, honestly, don't think you can just learn it from a videos or PDFs or something. We believe that support is the number one thing that we need. And so we have support. And it's from me and my whole team. So we'd love to talk with you, and there's no need to hold back if this is what you feel called to do.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. In a world where nurses support everyone, our patients, our families, our friends, to know that nurses are stepping up to the plate and providing support for each other,
Mm,
now is the time. This is beautiful.
mm,
Thank you so much.
mm. You're so welcome. It's my joy, Casey. Always love connecting with you and your spark.
Yes, yes, it is love. It is love.
It is. Amen.
Well, this was such an enjoyable video. If you're seeing this, it might be the first time, or I might decide to play it a second time. Please share it if you think someone out there
Mm,
could benefit. You might not even be a nurse, but think a nurse could benefit. Please
mhm,
share it.
mm.
Please share this information because we're just trying to get all the love and resources out there.
That's
Thank
right.
you so much, Sharon. Thank you, audience, for listening and joining in. Until next time, we will see you later.